Hi, it's Jenny, and today's real funny friend, Tim Meadows. You know him, of course, from Saturday Night Live. My girls know him from Mean Girls. And, it's funny because you've done so much. What is your favorite character that you've ever done?
Favorite character I've ever done is probably Ladies Man. It's probably the most fun for me because I, helped create it and it's almost like a part of me. So I think it's probably the best, easiest thing for me to do and everything. But yeah, I'm just waking up, so I'm just getting going
no, that's
here.
all good.
But yeah, so that's probably my favorite thing to do. I mean, when in movies and everything, I love doing Mean Girls and the principal from that movie.
You nailed it. I just love how your humor brought that whole bit was great, and I love Tina Fey.
I do too.
She's
She wrote it. She created that character, and people ask me did you improvise or did you? And I go, no. She wrote everything that I said. I'll keep you until 4 and all that stuff. It was all written. Nothing. I didn't improvise anything. I think maybe one thing I improvised in Mean Girls was when she took off her sweater in the classroom, and I look at her eyes, and I look down for a second, and I look back up. I did that during the rehearsal, and she laughed, and so she said, "Yeah, keep that."
Oh, I love that. Well, and it's got to be nice too because you guys worked together so long on Saturday Night Live and stuff.
Yeah.
So having somebody write, knowing your
voice,
your voice and everything. That's really cool.
She's done that a bunch of times too. I did an episode of 30 Rock, and I played, and I used to write characters on SNL where I would make up funny names for the character, and then when I went to do 30 Rock, she took that and made this character's name was Martin Luther King. So Martin Luther was his first name, King was his last name, and he was an attorney, and that stuff made me laugh. And then there was one joke in there where Tracy Morgan says the name, talks about a movie that he was in, and I could just go, yes, movies are horrible. And that's another Tina thing, but that's from my humor, But,
and how do you I always wonder this because it doesn't happen very often, but how do you keep a straight face for some of these things? Is it they take after take and then you're finally ready to do?
Yeah, I think during the rehearsals for film and TV, during the rehearsals, you sort of hear it all, so you know what the comedy and the jokes are going to be. But then when you are actually filming it, some people will put a little extra into it. Like Will Ferrell is like that a lot. He'll do something extra that you might not be expecting, and that will make you laugh because you didn't see it before.
Yeah.
But and Chris Farley was like that a lot. His goal when his scene partners was to make them laugh.
Okay.
That was his goal, was to make you laugh. And so it was really fun when you work with somebody like that. But it also can be tiring too.
Yeah.
Because it's you're all, somebody's always on for your entertainment.
Yeah.
But
and that's, because when you're out in public and stuff like that, I feel like it'd be hard for that too. People want you to be on, they want you to be a certain character, whatever one is their favorite. You've done so many. And is it people just come up to you and just quote stuff back to you all the time?
Yes. And actually last night after the show, this couple, they were leaving and they walked into the dressing room by mistake while we were all just sitting there talking. And then the woman who had a couple drinks said, "We love you. Can you do Ladies Man for me right now?" And I said, "No, I can't. I can't do it right now." And she said, "Please, I love that character." And I said, "No, I don't. I don't perform like that. I'm not one of those people that if you ask me to do something, I'm gonna go, yeah, I'll do it for you." I'm no, I'm the opposite.
It's
why
good, though,
did you ask me that?
Yeah. Well, and it's good because you learn boundaries.
Exactly.
I'm working on those right now too.
That's a very good example. That's a very good point. Is you learn boundaries.
Because otherwise, people would constantly want you to be on and doing it.
Yeah, and also you're not being yourself.
Well, and you just got done with the show, and you do the stand-up. He's going to be at Comedy Works South in Landmark.
Yeah.
And so when you're doing these shows, it's this is me. This isn't one of my characters. This is is my stand-up, and this is my art.
And this is also, it's a job. And so when you are, I wouldn't come to you when you're not on air and go, "Can you do an interview with somebody? Just do it for me right now,"
I don't have boundaries, so I would do it. I'm working on that.
Yeah.
But like, that's how I know. I'm like, you have to learn to say no sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be.
But also, it's like those points too. Is like you have to remember. So I'm like, I was not working anymore.
Well, you were just done. You were trying to unwind, and you just gotten into town. You still have. You had to get up early to see me,
to come
which I
here.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. But, yeah, and I always feel bad because I'm like, I know you guys did the show, but he's got 2 tonight, 2 on Saturday, and I love the Comedy Works landmark. Like, I love getting in and out of there. I love the restaurants around there and just like the overall feel of it. I think it's more intimate.
The venue is really nice. The seating and everything, and we had the lower part was all full. This weekend, the balcony is all full too. So we are looking forward to the shows. We had fun last night.
So who opens up for you?
Last night was Georgia Comstock and what's her name? Megan King is middle.
Oh, okay.
2 women. They're both really good. Georgia's from here, and she was really funny. And Megan is from Dallas, but she lived here for a while too.
Oh, okay.
And it's really fun for me to have these 2 women perform. But this year I've been requesting female openers, like for all my shows.
Okay.
Because I go out and do shows, and when I don't ask, I usually get, and which is fine, I get men, and they are usually the same type of comedian.
Yeah.
Which is like they have the baseball cap on backwards. They do a lot of jokes about dating and how bad they are, or how bad women are, or whatever. And anyway, so I just got tired of that sort of performance.
Do you have you probably have a lot of women in the audience too?
I do. I think it's pretty evenly split. And also like demographic too. It's like there's a lot of young and older people there too. But I just found like with requesting female comics, it changed the feeling of the show. It made it a lot more like, I don't know, friendly or something. It was just, to me, it just felt like it was too like harsh, and it was too male dominated and viewpoint.
And I love that. And Colorado has a lot of like really great female comedians that are coming up and stuff like that too. So, and I love that. I love that you're, it's a dynamic. It's a dynamic thing where it's like you don't want somebody that kind of is similar to your style. You want somebody that's every different part is a different chapter kind of like thing.
And also, it's a good example. And I don't want to get too preachy or political, but it is a good example of how people who don't get an opportunity are given an opportunity.
Yep.
Because if I didn't make this effort, I would be getting the same type of comedians everywhere I go.
Yep.
And so the fact that I'm making this effort, I think is important.
Yeah.
And I never even thought about it before until I was like, wow, I only get white male opening acts everywhere I go. And like, how come they don't ever bring women comics to these shows?
I think that's kind of funny because now that I'm thinking about it, the shows that I've been to, that's usually the opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ends with me.
He's going to start Viva la Revolution. We got this. But yeah, and especially because of some of the, Grown Ups and Mean Girls and stuff like those are a lot of family friendly and female oriented movies and stuff. So that's great.
Yeah.
But what are you working on now besides just doing some touring? Or?
Yeah, I got signed by Max, the TV or the streaming. I'm doing Peacemaker on Max. I got signed to do that this season. So I'm doing that right now. I did a couple movies. One with Michael Gondry, the director, for Pharrell. It's about Pharrell's life when he was younger.
Wow.
And then I did another movie with Netflix it's a Christmas movie with my favorite person ever, Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah.
I love Lindsay. And
I'm so proud of her. Like, I love her. Like now, she is just kind of like the one that we fell in love with when she was younger,
Yeah.
But I worry about some of these like younger stars and stuff like that. It's like if they don't have a strong unit around them, they kind of go off for a little bit. But I'm glad she came back.
I'm glad
she seems
too.
happy.
And also it's just because she's really talented. And it was evident when we were doing this movie, because we hadn't done anything together since Mean Girls, and it was 20 years or whatever it was. But just as soon as we got back in front of the camera, it was just like a very good chemistry with me and her.
Yeah.
And we were doing this scene where I play a friend of her family, and I'm older than her, obviously, but like during our scene together, we were talking, and it was very nice and everything. And then the director goes, "Can you guys? It seems like you're dating.
You're like, well,
can you kind of make it so that you're friends and not just like in love with each other?" And I laughed. I was just like, "Yeah, I can't help it because I do. I really love her. Like
Yeah.
she's one of my favorite people."
I
So,
love it.
Yeah.
Well, and I love those Christmas movies.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd about them. Every time, like Christmas in July right now, I love that. Like, it's almost over. It's going to be a bummer.
Yeah.
But, well, make sure you check him out. Tim Meadows is going to be at Comedy Works South at the Landmark. 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. And you know what? Don't ask him to do the ladies' man.